Elisa Longo Borghini.
Filippo Concha looking good. Is he going to do it? It's going to be so close between Concha and Kobe. I think he's done it. They so richly deserve that, the way they've ridden today.
Watson just wants to roll off the front here.
This gap will open up very quickly if they don't act soon.
Look at the crowd.
And your men's elite national champion of Britain for 2025 is Sam Watson.
It's fight for Georgie on the back. Millie Cousins goes long. Henderson in the slipstream. Fight for Georgie. Gonna come through. Millie Cousins. Is she gonna take the title? Millie Cousins takes it for Phoenix de Koenig.
Zipping up his jersey, seeing some people he knows on the side of the road. And a first elite title here for Ivan Romeo Abad.
Out the saddle, very, very powerful and explosive. A first ever national title to Movistar's Sarah Martin.
It is one of the most iconic jerseys in the world of cycling. And for 2025, it belongs to Marie Linette. She is the champion of France.
Godon pulling away from Gregoire. Dorian Godon is going to win the French national road race.
National championships. I mean, what were our takeaways? What were our standouts?
It's one of the best Sundays of the year.
Isn't
I always
it?
try and watch.
It's too much.
I used to try and watch everything I could and then go, okay, 12k to go, 8k to go, backwards and forwards, Belgian, French, German, Dutch. But the Dutch was now on the Saturday, which made it a bit easier.
Made it easier. Yeah, but your brain and your eyes are going ping, 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 ping all day. It's amazing.
Yeah, you just keep pro cycling stats open and go, okay, who won there? Who are the ones you can't watch?
Yeah.
And
you can't even remember who's wearing the jersey right now. So many races in one weekend.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was doing British Nationals, and when you watch all those nationals there, the British Nationals is great, but it's such a different race to when you see all the races on the continent. It's like a proper race still. Then you go back to England and you're like, I wish it was like bigger and better almost in a kind of way.
What do you mean then, in terms of the crowds, in terms of the setting, what?
All of it, all of it. I don't know, it's just, you know, when you watch a race in Belgium or Holland or France, wherever it is, you see all that and you're like, oh my God, that looks like an event I want to go to. England just looks like a race by the coast that's coming in like a little marathon almost. But it was a very, very good race.
We do have to have a quick word on the men's Italian nationals. You were talking about it as soon as you walked in this morning. Yep. I loved your excitement about it. It's just brilliant, isn't it? What a race.
Like, talking about like nationals being important, Italy is one of those championships where everybody is. And then a club rider wins the Italian jersey. Like, imagine being Kofi, sprinting to the finish line, thinking you will be national champion, and then this club rider comes past you and wins the sprint.
What was his name again?
Concha, I think.
Concha, yeah. It'd be interesting because he created that club, I think, didn't he? Though the team that he's in.
I think it already existed and he joined it because he was a pro with like 36.5, lost his contract, didn't get renewed, and so he went to ride back at that level. But it's sort of been a place where guys who are in and out of the pro ranks, they've gone back into, but it has this almost religious following, and the guys, they
it's like the underdog team, isn't it?
It is,
the underdog,
exactly.
They're always like there and everyone wants them to win. But I don't know if he's part. I saw something about it from, I think it was 2015 when that team started, and he was a part of it then. So it'd be really interesting to see where he's at now, if he wants to go through all the rigmarole of being a pro again and fighting for contracts.
Surely, yes.
But it just depends on what he's paid now, you know, because I can't imagine he'd go back into the pros and be like paid double what he's on now. So he might be like,
is he on anything now?
I won't, like,
Italian national champion, surely you've got to land a good contract
come
after
on,
that.
someone sign him.
Yeah, no, exactly. We want to see that jersey in the peloton, don't we?
They have to, like, I think every team that wants to be in the Giro next year with a wild card needs to have him in the team, right?
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, so you'll already have those Italian teams like Bardiani and Vini Fantini, etc., going like, please come to us.
Speaking about the risk of injury or something going wrong, I had my suspicious hat on whenever Wout van Aert pulled out of the Belgian nationals, and I thought, is that just in case? Is he actually ill? Because he pulled out, he's done that before, hasn't he? And we weren't entirely sure whether that was injury maybe cited then. Do we suspect that he's maybe also saving himself for the Tour de France?
Yes, Tour de France, yes, just a yes.
I thought I was being a bit too conspiratorial, but no.
Just
yeah. And I'm here for it, really, no?
Saving yourself, it's a day. I don't think he's been saving himself.
I don't mean saving himself physically, but there is a big risk factor involved in a one-day race, national championships, if it matters that much to him compared to a good Tour de France.
And also in Belgium, you need to have a good excuse to not ride the championship. So you need to be either sick or like Wellens actually wanted to miss his plane to not ride the Belgium championships.
Oh, really?
He already said to the team, I'm not going to ride the championships. I will say that I missed my flight.
No way.
And then in the end, there was only, I think, Vermeers riding for the team. And he said like, okay, if it's only Vermeers, I will come.
Wow.
So he's not the only one.
And then they were both in the break as well. Yeah. But then it was Tim Wellens who made the winning attack after Remco covered pretty much everything all day long. Yeah. But Wellens rode off it. He's
brilliant that Wellens made his flight after all then.
He made the flight and kept flying.
He ever organised his logistics.
I like this. Nationals finishes, then you've got the build-up to the Tour, which we're in now. And I love this part because it's when you see all the pictures of the teams going out training all together, all the Tour de France presentation. It's like that little buzz around how is everyone, where you're looking at, I know we're not going to find out anything, but do you know when you're looking at a rider and thinking, oh, they look skinny, or oh, they look ready, or oh, look at the new kit they're on, all that kind of stuff.
And they're all getting the new haircuts.
All the new haircuts, yeah, right, Thomas. Same haircut every year. Yeah, I love this part of the season. I just can't wait for this first 5 days of the Tour.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I think it's going to be absolute chaos. And I just can't.
First 5 or first even like 11.
Yeah,
I feel like before but until we hit those high mountains, I feel like there's so much opportunity for chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting up in the north, always, and you're very weather dependent, of course. Anything can happen at the moment over in Europe and northern France, Belgium, Holland is boiling hot. Yeah. But there's a little bit of rain forecasts coming towards the end of the weekend. So racing up around out to Dunkirk on, I think it's Monday. Yeah, Monday. A little bit of rain out there, a little bit of wind, and then onward and outward to Normandy, Brittany. Anything can happen.
Yeah. And I think the good thing of this, like this big first week this year is it's going to be so exciting with all these punchy finals. The yellow jersey can switch around like so every day almost. Yeah. And it says like, maybe it's because I'm Dutch, but it says Mathieu van der Poel that first week, right? Every stage.
At
almost
least the last
every
day of the first week does. We're going back to the scene of taking the yellow and honouring his granddad, and we're going back to the Mood of Britannia. That's one of the days, despite all the sprints that we're going to have, and I should be maybe more excited about those. I feel like I'm letting myself down.
Are you not as excited about those?
No, I am. I'm really excited about the very first sprint because a sprinter gets the chance to take the yellow jersey, and that's not something that happens very often.
I'm just really nervous about the GC guys getting through this first 10 days, like not stress-free, without any injuries, no crashes, and just being all there.
Do you want it to be that we get to stage 12 without much of a difference in time gaps, or what do you think? Like, as in almost that the GC is neutralised until we hit the high mountains, or like I kind of want to see it all blown to pieces a little bit, as long as it's not completely blown to pieces and we can put the pieces back together again. You know what I mean?
I want to see racing. So if it's like time gaps because they've been racing and missed stuff, love that. Yeah. If it's due to crashes and stuff,
no, absolutely. It's the most depressing.
But it's almost impossible to survive those first 10 days for all the GC guys without a crash.
Unless you're Pogačar.
Yeah, unless you're Pogačar or you're Vingegaard with a very strong team.
All his bodyguards around him.
He has so many good guys around him for the flat stages, like or the hilly stages actually.
He has the stages.
All the stages actually. But he has a way stronger team than Pogačar has for those first 10 days, I believe.
For the first 10, I would agree.
I think Visma's more a positioning team in defence. But Pogačar and his team are positioning in to rip the race.
But at the same time, recent years would say the opposite, that Visma are the ones who ride in attack and rip the whole thing to shreds. It doesn't always work, obviously, but they're the ones who throw everything at the race.
Well, in the mountains, yes, but on the flatter days, those punchy sort of up in the north, his first 3, 4, 5 days, I think probably advantage Pogačar with the way the bunch is going to be. And I think the biggest thing is just the fighting within the bunch. The Tour is such a special beast. It makes everybody so nervous. Everyone's told to ride at the front, and it just seems that the Tour, it could be the same amount of riders as in the Giro. It just seems like there's twice as many. The roads are twice as narrow. It's just
everything's ramped up.
I think when you look at those teams, you've got Visma who's super strong and they can ride at the front all day and really control things. And you've got Pogačar who can float around and do his own thing. And he can do that, I think, with minimal effort. I think he's almost better on his own than what he is with a team. And I think for his team's sake, they get to sit back a bit. So that first week they can stay calm, not put as much pressure on themselves because they've got Pogačar doing his thing. Keep an eye on him, but don't kill yourself to do the job that Visma are doing. Then you get later on into the race, the second, third week, how much is this first week going to take out of them later on for Visma? That then UAE have maybe not tried as hard, then they've got more power in the mountains. So it is a real tussle of how much effort we're going to put into this first 10 days, I think.
I think the advantage that Pogačar and UAE have is that those first 10 days suit him better as a rider than they do Jonas. So I think there's more opportunity within that team of Visma Lease Bike to try to destroy things a little bit. But they kind of have to do that if they want to get any time, because Jonas otherwise has to wait until stage 12 before he starts to really properly get onto his own terrain.
But I think when we saw the first stage in the Dauphiné, where Vingegaard was attacking Pogačar as well, he really focused on his effort, like on his explosivity on those small hills.
I think it's better for him to do that. I think if he can get out of the chaos, I think it's better for him, just because he's safer, he's with the guys that he needs to be around. So it wouldn't surprise me if he started doing that. I'm just intrigued to see what Van Aert's going to do in that situation with the team. Because I can imagine he'll want to look after Jonas, but wow. There's a chance to win a stage.
Which days does he get?
Exactly.
Route de Bretagne for sure. Day 7, and then there'll be other days that I think Walt will say that one and that one and that one. But for the rest of the race, we talked about Vingegaard getting on his own terrain and mountain stage after mountain stage. But this year it's like mountain stage, flat day, mountain stage, flat day. There's a lot of breaks in between the big mountains until the last couple of days, 18, 19, something like that. So it's a funny sort of layout of the tour, and only a couple of days, 2 days in the Alps.
Stage 18 is set to be one of the toughest days of this year's Tour de France. With 171 kilometres and 5,500 metres of elevation, the peloton will have had to conquer 2 mountains before they take on the stage's final summit, the Col de la Loze.
I'm gone. I'm dead.
Bonjour! The 2-time Tour winner Alberto Contador is on reconnaissance duty to take us up the brutal climb.
We're just at the beginning of the menacing Col de la Loze. The riders will get here having already done 2 all-category climbs, the Glandon and the Madeleine, so this climb could be decisive.
Ya estamos en las primeras rampas.
We're already on the first slopes. It's a long climb, 26 kilometres with an average gradient of 6.5%, some kilometres at 11%. The road is wide at first, and then bit by bit it will narrow.
Justo aquí, después de 11 kilómetros, los corredores se van a enfrentar.
Right here, after 11k, the riders will tackle the first really hard kilometre, around a constant 10%. For me, this will be an important point to launch an attack, because they'll already have been climbing for quite some time, so an attack now could do some damage. That being said, there are still 14 kilometres left.
14 kilómetros. Estamos a 5 para meta.
We're now 5 kilometres to the finish line. The latter part is very, very hard. You can feel it because just 1 kilometre back, the road changes and becomes narrower. Straight away, you can feel the gradient change. We're finally at the top of this tough and endless climb. The final part is also really complicated. Once you go past Courchevel, that following kilometre's really hard. And then there's an area of maybe 400 to 500 metres of rest before the gradients ramp up to 9–10% again. It's a climb that's designed to make time differences. It doesn't have ridiculous gradient percentages, but because of the distance and all the previous accumulated climbing during the stage, this climb could make the difference.
Oh, does anyone else feel sick with excitement about this? Oh,
no, just sick.
So this is stage 18. And then stage 19, 10,000 metres of climbing in 2 days. This is 5,500 metres of climbing. 3 or category climbs. It's insane, isn't it?
I just say it might be too much, you know. This could be too much. I'm only joking.
Well,
It's not gonna
I'm not sure I'm going to read this.
But with the best climbers that are in the Tour, this is what it takes to separate them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's anything less, they're just going to come to the line together because it's been too easy.
How is it going to be? Obviously, it's going to massively and entirely depend on how the GC is sitting at this stage. But how is it likely to be raced? 3 Ore category climbs, given the fact that the following day we also have another 2 Ore category climbs, a Cat 1 and 2 Cat 2s. These are going to be the decisive stages. How is this stage going to be raced? Aggressively or a bit negatively, neutrally, if you like, given everything that's come?
All on the GC, where it sits that day, how much separates the top guys. But those 2 days are perfect for Jonas, I think. I think Vingegaard, that is like his bread and butter, what he wants. So for him, if he's in the lead, if he's not, if he's got time to bring back, that team will race it full gas. You almost guarantee Wout's going to be in the break waiting later on in the stage, and just that typical how they ride, that'll be done by them.
I think it'll be one of those days, that tactical early on section of getting teammates up the road. Who can we get up there? Where are they going to be?
If they can get up there.
If they can get up the road.
Because
they're good enough.
directly from the start, it's uphill.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I see this stage, it's made like anti-Pogačar.
Yeah.
Because this is made for Vingegaard. Like 3 long climbs. 2 days in a row. That's made for Vingegaard. That's nuts. That doesn't suit Pogačar as well as it suits Vingegaard.
This is why I like it, because I do feel the first 11 days of racing is much more friendly to Tadej Pogačar. And this is where we get overexcited when we're in the middle of a bike race and we are calling out these time gaps like they're definitive and forgetting what's to come and the terrain to come and who that favours most. Because I think, and all of us watching, right, we can be guilty of this, where we've written the story before it's ever happened. So by stage 11, we're going into stage 12, the high mountains, and maybe Tadej's got, I don't know, a gap of a minute and a half, whatever. We're thinking, that's it, it's all done. Forgetting that stages 18 and 19 could completely turn this race on its head.
1.5 minutes is nothing with these stages. I think Pogačar once lost 5.5 minutes on La Loze on Vingegaard.
I think that stage, talking about the Col de la Loze, the favourites are going to be waiting for that climb because it's not only 3 mountains in the day, but that climb is 26k long. It goes to 2,300 metres. The altitude really starts to kick in, really steep gradients. I think once they're halfway up that climb is where we're going to really start to see guys make their move. Because you make it too early, you can be your own worst enemy.
Yeah. So who else are we looking at by that stage though? Because we are now guilty
no
of
one.
Come on. Race. Yeah, but we can't, obviously, we can't do that because anything happens in a Tour de France. Who else are we looking at by here?
I want to say Primoz, but let's get him there
Get
first.
him there,
Get him to those first 10 days and then we can talk about Primoz Roglic.
Yes.
Remco will be good, I think. I don't think he'll be quite there, but I think that sort of terrain, he seems to mature, so he'll just stay within himself. And if he can stay within himself on each and every one of those climbs, he'll be consistent through those 2 days. So maybe Remco. We have the danger of Jonas and Tadej really watching each other too much and racing each other out of a bike race maybe. I don't think that will happen, but there is always a chance where each of them are scared a little bit of each other and they just cancel each other out and people might take advantage.
We're talking about the top 2 when it comes to GC, but there are so many other narratives when it comes to Tour de France anyway. And I mean, the sprints are going to be a lot of fun, aren't they?
They are. I mean, there's a yellow jersey up for grabs on day 1. And the sprinters we're going to see in this race, so Tim Merlier, Jasper Philipsen, Jonathan Milan, defending green jersey, Biniam Gourmet, and the lead-out trains that some of those riders have at their disposals. And for a guy like Merlier, lack of a lead-out train, but never seems to worry him. There's so much going to be going on in the sprints. I can't wait.
We need a napkin to wipe the drool, Robbie.
Won't be big enough. Get me a full bath towel.
But yeah, it's going to be exceptional. And I just wonder, I started the season predicting this is going to be Jonathan Milan's year. How do we feel about his chances going into his first Tour de France?
I think he's going to be good, but it's going to be so hard for him. I think it'll be hard for him to get to Paris. After those final 2 days, the amount of climbing in just those 2 days is going to be so hard for him.
I wonder which sprinter is going to get to Paris, actually, because there's 4 chances. Okay, Philipsen, but like a Merlier or a Milan. Their only chances are in the first week, actually. And after, it's so hard.
And it's no longer even guaranteed that the final stage is going to be a sprint now anyway. But at the same time, finishing a Tour de France is a prize in itself, isn't it? If you're a sprinter, you're not going to stop the Tour de France early because you're saving yourself for something else.
No,
you're hanging on for grim death.
Yeah, you try and get there if you possibly can. And there's still a good chance that the last day in Paris will be a sprint for those that haven't looked at it yet. The change is that they're going to do the Sacré-Cœur, the Montmartre climb that they had in the Olympic Games 3 times on the top of the climb the last time, 6K from the finish. That's going to be one hell of a last day.
I'm calling a GC race in the final stage.
It could be, go any which way. I mean, Mathieu van der Poel clipping off with Wout maybe. Remco doing a repeat. Here I am in Paris again.
Yeah. I love the way they've shaken up the final stage, actually. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it makes it...
You've changed your tune.
Well, I'm now a spectator.
I was going to say, before you were like, no, never. I love it.
I'm not going to have a number on. What the hell? That'd be good to watch.
I think it will be a lot of fun to watch, and I think it'd be more fun than the usual Paris stage, to be honest, because, it's a procession until the racing starts, but then the racing itself, it really does, there's a chance of a breakaway, whatever, but it comes down to that final sprint. So you're waiting for the last 2 laps, really, around Paris, lap and a half. Yeah. Whereas now, I think, we're going to have a chance of it all splitting apart an awful lot earlier.
We love surprises.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be so stressful, though, for the riders.
I know.
Like you think for Wout, it's a good chance for him, but he's going to have to look after Jonas. Tadej will look after himself.
Depending on the gaps.
Yeah, depending on the gaps. I do think the
gaps.
GC could be raced in Paris.
GC riders can go for the stage. Like Tadej can go for that stage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which is bonkers.
If he's a couple of seconds behind, he is racing for the stage in Paris to get the yellow jersey.
If he's 5 minutes in front, I think he'll still race to get a stage win. Like, why would
Yeah. No, I agree. But what I mean is, I don't know if we'll have the gentleman's agreement.
But that's stage 21.
Yeah.
I want to go back just a little bit to Lille, the one that's still got to start. Stage 1. But that racing for the yellow jersey and looking at the sprint teams, you can't go past Alpecin with their setup, the train. I mean, Van der Poel, Groves, who he's a sprinter in his own right, won in the Giro, leading out Philipsen, who he was 3rd at the Belgian Championship on a hard course. So he's going to be really good.
So you're calling Jasper for yellow?
No, I'm just saying they're going to be really good. I think they can dominate the lead out, but it doesn't mean he's going to win because Merlier, he can just come from almost nowhere to win races, and he did exactly that in the Tour of Belgium just 10 days or so ago. He is really flying, and although it's in Lille and that's in France, Merlier's from not far away. He'll feel like this is a home race.
And I feel like he's so good when it's chaotic. He doesn't need a sprint train, he only needs Van Lerbergen with him. And then he finds his way in the sprint. And the first stage in the Tour de France, it's chaos. That's what suits him.
Yeah, he reads it so well. He just sees it before it happens. He'll look up and go, might be really crowded there now, but in a minute it's going to open up. And he's so explosive.
I think he's
and
so
goes long
strong.
Range.
That's the thing. He's so strong. He can go long range. He doesn't. If you look at you as a sprinter, you always have to wait, find your gap, and then go. With him, it's just like he can see the chaos and go. That's there, I'm going to go there and go. And he somehow gets away with it every time.
He so often goes from 300 metres to go. And you're like, well, he's going to blow up. And then he doesn't, and he just does this. And you go, okay, he did it again.
He's done it.
Tadej Pogačar, Jonas Vingegaard. It's the rivalry of this magnificent era. Pogačar's going to go, and he's having none of it.
Vingegaard's going to have a go. Oh my goodness!
It's the top 2 going toe-to-toe again, and this is looking ominous for everybody else. Tadej Pogačar, nobody can touch him.
Vingegaard goes, and who is going to follow?
The attack is launched. It's Vingegaard versus Pogačar. It's time now to finish the job. Vingegaard to the line, and look at that!
I think, to be honest, if I was racing without him, it wouldn't be the same, and hopefully he feels the same the other way around. But I guess it could be kind of boring if you just win every mountain stage with 2 minutes. So yeah, I actually enjoy having a rival like him.
Tadej Pogačar can't respond, and this is a big moment, a huge crack opening up here. And Vingegaard, well, he had a team, he had a plan, and he's going to have his cake and eat it by the time he gets to the top here. A man who packed fish for a living, well, he's just landed a big one. That is amazing.
Yeah, I don't really care about what kind of style and I have and what people actually think about me. I just care about my family, care about my career, about my team. I want to win as much as possible, and of course if people don't like the way that I'm doing it, then it's their problem. It's not about the way I'm winning it, it's more about winning the Tour de France. Yeah, of course I also like it when the whole team is a part of it, a big part of it, like we showed in the past. And yeah, I always have had super good teammates in the Tour de France, and yeah, again this year it will be a super strong team. So every year it seems like everybody's taking a step at the moment. So obviously I also need to be better than I was 2 years ago. But I also have the feeling that I am improving. Even last year, going into the Tour, I was still kind of believing that I could go for the win. Obviously that didn't work out. But yeah, this year I feel like a completely different person, to be honest, in the way how my body reacts to training, but also how my body is in general. To be honest, I would have liked to race a bit more, and we were speaking about adding Romandy to my program. We decided to leave it out just to focus on the Tour de France. So yeah, obviously I feel like I missed out a bit on the whole spring, but yeah, that's how it is, and it only gives me more motivation for the Tour de France. To be honest, I don't think I'm the born leader, but I kind of learned how to be a leader. So actually, by the time, the more and more I do it, the more I also enjoy it as well. I mean, in the past I learned from Wout, obviously, but also from Primoz as a teammate. Obviously now I'm more learning from myself as well. So if there's something that I'm doing in a race that either I like it or I don't like it. So yeah, I kind of learn by what I'm doing myself. So I want to communicate with my teammates. I think last year, probably in the Tour, I wasn't the leader that I actually would have liked to been. I was probably, how to say it, a bit insecure in some kind of way, and then I was not communicating as I normally wanted to. But yeah, I know there's a reason for that as well.
It's Vingegaard at the front. Pogačar waits, stalks his prey. Now he goes. Pogačar trying to come around. Vingegaard's holding it. Vingegaard to the line, and look at that! What a story that is!
It means a lot, and all the things I went through. Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be here, and yeah, it means so much to win a stage.
I think back then it was just mainly a relief, to be honest. I mean, with all I went through, then to be able to take that stage win was really incredible. And I mean, now when I think back to that stage, but also in general the whole Tour de France last year, first of all I'm thinking that I shouldn't have been there because of what I went through, but I was there, and I'm happy that I was there, and then I'm even more happy about how it went as well.
He's such an interesting character, isn't he? Because he isn't as exuberant and as outgoing as Tadej Pogačar is, for example. And I feel like we often think he's a bit of an enigma like that, but he's actually not. Like, that was a really open interview, I find, and a really self-aware conversation, which I just find really interesting. Yeah,
it seems he just has a lot of reflection and thinking through, and he really appreciates the gravity of what he's been through. That crash that he had last year in Basque Country, where a number of other riders hurt themselves as well, but he, like he said, he shouldn't have made it to the Tour. The fact that he did was quite amazing. That he won a stage as well was just ridiculous. But I think it's been an incredibly important building block in his fight for this year's tour. However, I still have some questions around how far towards 100% has he recovered from that crash from last year, because I've seen some little things.
Or physically?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
I really do find it intriguing. I think with him, he knows what he can do on a good day. I think on a bad day, if you look when he was good, like 2 years ago when he won the Tour, he was exceptional. Just rode away with that singular time trial, 1.5 minutes into Tadej on 1:30k time trial or whatever it was. That is like peak Jonas, and that's where he'll hope to be, but he knows that Tadej wasn't at his best then either. So I think there's a bit of uncertainty about it, which there would be against Tadej. My concern is, not concern, but how the heck is he going to beat Tadej? That's my big question around it, and I don't even think he knows that. And you come into a leadership role, which he was talking about, it doesn't matter your team, it doesn't matter any of that stuff around you. When it comes down to him and Tadej, it's just them two. And for me, it's like what's his edge that he's got on him at the minute? And as you said, the uncertainty. I've not seen anything yet, which is that edge.
You know what? Sorry, go ahead.
What I think is, like, we haven't seen it yet, but his whole plan is to build towards the Tour de France. He hasn't been his best yet, because he wants to be his best in the Tour de France. And that's the big difference with Tadej, because he's been enjoying himself, doing the classics, riding good in Dauphiné. And how much better is he gonna get towards the Tour? How good prepared is he for the Tour? For that final week? Like, Vingegaard did everything right.
I also feel like the mental resilience that he is displaying can only be to his benefit, because he's really vulnerable there, talking about where he has his weaknesses, that he's not a natural born leader. He's had to learn that he didn't communicate so much last year because he wasn't feeling confident. I think that's a really vulnerable place to put yourself into, to be so open about all of that before the Tour de France. But he's only able to say that because he's learned from it. You're not saying all of those things if you're still feeling that as a weakness. So I feel like actually he's been through so much, both on the bike, but away from the bike probably mostly, that will have allowed him to sit back and go, you know what, I've come through a mountain of difficulty. And even the way he's talking about last year's Tour de France, that I probably shouldn't have been there, but I was, and I rode it exceptionally well.
I got second.
And I got second. So I feel like all of that is going to build into a resilience that he's going to be able to enjoy that few riders really will have. I'm not saying that Tadej doesn't, but he's not had to overcome what Jonas has to the same extent. And if it comes down to something whereby they're testing each other mentally as much as physically, you can't really doubt Jonas on that level.
No, you can't doubt his mental fortitude, and I think the ability to be able to talk about it now like he is shows how far he's come from that point. He's, like he said, he wasn't communicating well back then. He's communicating to anyone and everyone now and talking about it, which shows he's come a long way, but has he come far enough? And as you said, the planning will be there to get that much better between the Dauphiné and the Tour and up to probably the most important part of the Tour from stage 9, 10 onwards when we get to the mountains. But is he going to have that progression between Dauphiné? That's the huge question mark. We just don't know. He doesn't know. They try to plan for it. They try to prepare like that. But if it happens, is another thing. And I can't wait to find out.
One thing that Visma do very well, seem to do very well, is building that team cohesion. And it seems to annoy the other teams the way that they stick together and they're this closed band of brothers. But it works within it. And, you know, we've gotten to know Nathan Van Hooydonk an awful lot, who's one of Jonas's best friends. And he speaks with such fierce protective loyalty about everybody in that team, and that's something to their credit as well, because they are able to get together and work for each other, even when you've got riders like Wout van Aert who will be going off and doing their own thing in terms of trying to win stages, whereas UAE arguably, well, it's all in for Tadej. If they're going to win a stage even, it's probably through Tadej. But even with that, even with the fact that Visma can do different things, I feel like they are the tighter band of brothers together in this.
Who would you rather win, Tadej or Jonas?
She's going to be on air talking about it. That's hard. That's hard.
No, it really doesn't matter. As long as we have...
Liar.
Doesn't matter, you're right.
Like, the way Pogačar rides, that's more fun. It's more fun to watch.
Come on. Get to it.
But Jonas
the way Visma ride,
I love the way Vingegaard just goes for it. He does everything the whole season to win this Tour de France.
Yeah, I'm the same. Who would you rather win? It's a really hard question. I'm just asking.
It's actually really hard because here's the thing. I'll give you one answer today. I'll give you another answer after stage one.
So
another
saying,
answer in the first rest day. But it's true. Like generally, I want the underdog to win.
I was going to say, it's going to be the underdog that you gravitate
ridiculous
towards.
that even though he's won twice, I want Jonas to win because he's the underdog. If they start dominating and he starts dominating, then I'm Team Pogačar. So I always want the underdog because then you've got to fight. And I just want the most brutal, bitty, gorgeous, aggressive fight all the way to that finish line in Paris. That's what I would love.
So you want Remco to win?
These riders are just going to be wanting the race to start.
We are racing. Lorena Vivas has got an issue here. Charlotte Kohl comes off the wheel. It's Charlotte Kohl that comes through to take the first stage in front of a home crowd, and with it the maillot jaune, the yellow jersey.
These roundabouts. Yellow jersey down.
Cassia Niewiadoma attacks over to the right-hand side of the road. Puk Pieterse is poised and ready for the sprint. Puk Pieterse now launches the move down the left-hand side of the road as Vollering tries to challenge on the line. Vollering throws the bike. Puk Pieterse has got it. What a finish. The slopes are really starting to bite now. 20%. Kaboom! Cedrine Cabal takes the stage for France. It has got to be the sprint of her life now. Up towards the line. Cassia Niewiadoma drives for home, saves the yellow jersey. What a mighty ride from the Polish rider. That was an outdoors ascent for the history books.
Right, well, that's got us excited about the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. I've got a surprise for you. Do you want to know what it is?
I don't know. You worry me when you
Do
say
we want to know?
It's actually on.
We have a chat lined up with Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Visma Lisa bike. It'll come back here to the road. Shall we chat? Thank you so much for joining us, Pauline. First of all, where are you and what's going on right now? You look like you're somewhere in the mountains.
Yeah, I just arrived in Tignes for a training camp in altitude. I've been doing the recon of the last 3 stages of Tour de France, so it's why I look so tired. And no, now we will stay 15 days here to train in altitude with the girls of the team.
And how's the preparation going, Pauline? Your first ever Tour de France Femme avec Zwift?
No, it's going really good. I'm really happy and I feel quite relaxed. Yeah, as you know, I didn't finish Vuelta and I used this period to take a rest. And after I went to altitude for 5 weeks to train and yeah, just to train. And now I'm here in altitude until yeah, the 16th to prepare Tour de France, and after that I will go home for a few days and start Tour de France.
How have you been since the Vuelta then? We haven't seen you race since the 8th of May, since you pulled out. How have you been?
Yeah, I took some rest because I did quite a big classic period, and I was feeling a bit tired, not only physically but also mentally. So I took a rest and it was really needed. Afterwards, I just started training again, and yeah, I had a really good time, you know, because I spent like 2 months away of home, and was just good to be at home and to train and to just train, eat and sleep, and yeah, it was really nice.
And I wonder, like, of course you did a lot of preparations the last few years for the mountain bike. How different is it now towards the Tour de France?
Yeah, it's not so much different because yeah, it's the main goal of my season, you know. So we base all the preparation for that goal, and was the same with the Olympics. Yeah, now I just have to be good for 9 days. So this will be the challenge. But yeah, it's not so much different, you know. It's just about like training hard and losing a bit of weight to climb well, and yeah, that's it.
So, Pauline, you told us about reconning the final 3 stages of Le Tour. That's obvious where you find the most important points of the race, where you'll really make the difference. Does that mean you're not as concerned with the early part of the race? Is there anything in the first part of the race that you have been and looked at all, or you're comfortable?
Yeah, after Vuelta, I went to Bretagne to also do the first 2 stages, because I don't think you can win Tour during these 2 first stages, but you can lose the Tour de France. I mean, it will be really hectic, really nervous. Everyone will be fresh, so it was important for me to see the first 2 stages to just have an idea. You know, I don't lose time in the stupid way, if I can say. After that, I think the middle part will be for me more like a recovery kind of days, and yeah, trying to don't make too much effort during these days and to be ready for the last 3 stages. I did the recon 2 days ago of Madeleine, and it's going to be really hard. So yeah, you have to be ready for that.
Just for Orla, so Orla's doing the l'étape during the race.
I'm trying to do the Madeleine, and that's the last thing I needed to hear, Pauline, how difficult it's going to be.
Can you please put the fear of God into her about how hard it is, the Madeleine?
I would say the first 2K, it's not that hard, but I had headwind, so it was quite challenging already. And from kilometers 18 to kilometers 13, it's really steep. So you need to be like ready mentally that it will be hard.
I feel sick.
But after that, you have 1K, you know, it's a bit flattish, so you can recover. And the last 12K, it's quite okay. So the worst moment is from the 18 to 13. So.
Okay, that's the hardest bit, from 18 kilometers to go until 13 kilometers to go.
That's a decline, exactly. Not the day.
Yeah. Pauline, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Before you go, can I just ask, I'm curious, where do you keep your cobble? Where's your trophy from Paris-Roubaix, Le Pavé? Where do you keep it at home?
You know that it's still at the service course of the team. Yeah.
You haven't got it back yet?
No.
Guys,
But it's also so heavy that I can't fly with it, so yeah.
Have you decided where you're going to keep it?
Next to Dylan's one.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Hey, listen, Pauline, we'll pay for the extra baggage if you tell us the secrets about the team.
Yeah, but okay.
Perfect. We'll send you a message.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. I will be, hopefully, on the Madeleine cheering you along if I've survived it. So I look forward to seeing you up and close.
Okay, can't wait to hear from you.
Oh, you'll hear me. You'll hear me. Merci beaucoup. Bon courage.
Merci, Nathalie. Merci.
Ciao, ciao. What a lovely chat. She's in really good form, isn't she? She looks really chilled, like she's on course. She knows what she's doing. She's ready for this, or she's going to be ready for it.
That woman loves preparation.
Yeah.
Like, she even said it herself, but I think being in that mental space where she knows she's got this block, the block she had beforehand, where she's just building. If she loves it that much, this is like racing was to me. It was like, that was the enjoyment part of it. So it's no wonder she's in a good place. Because every day she'll do something, that's another step further, and she's loving that.
Tick it off.
She must be going good if she's looking like she's in a good place.
Yeah, that's also true. But I find that so many riders either love the competing or love the training. To be able to enjoy both of those, it's easier to love the racing when you're winning, which she has been doing. But she seems to enjoy the whole package of it. It's really encouraging.
She does. It seems that the training is probably her favourite because she said it's very calm up here. She enjoys the calm, the quiet, stress-free. And when you're up there in the mountains, at least if you're a good climber, it can be absolutely beautiful and away from the stress of competition. But when we were talking to her and she said, I don't have a particular ambition, I just want to prepare well and then let the rest happen. But I don't know. I reckon there's a spreadsheet on the bedroom wall.
Well, she was very open when she came back to road racing that she wanted to win the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. That was her aim for coming back, but she gave herself a 3-year window. You wouldn't be shocked, would you, if she were to do it this year?
And the next
Not
year
at
and the
all.
year after that.
Yeah. She's exceptional. She's exceptional. And I feel like we've got so caught up, and we're lucky these days, we're blessed with women's racing that there's so many riders that we can get distracted by. But we have been caught up an awful lot in the Damie chat and the Lotta chat, and obviously Kasia, who's defending champion, Elisa, who's going to defend her title at the Giro D'Italia. I feel like because we haven't seen Pauline since she dropped out of the Vuelta, she had such a strong classics campaign. It's easy to forget, actually, this has been her goal for the comeback.
And we haven't seen her climbing that well this year, but when we see her in the interview, and we know when she's training for a goal, she will be good. So she needs to be on the list. Like, she is a podium candidate.
Yeah. It almost blows me away, the thought in advance of a French rider doing really well at the Tour de France. It's been a long time in the men's side of things. If she were to come along and be that darling of French cycling,
she already is.
She already is. But to win the Tour de France, to have a French winner of the Tour de France, next level.
Do you know what I really like about her is obviously she has real off periods where she switches off.
Yeah.
And I love that about her, that she's a human and she's like, I enjoy the process, and I can imagine her being, now I start, but once I've finished, then it's chill time again. Then I can go back to my life as such and then start again.
Like Greek holidays.
Like Greek holidays, all that kind of stuff. But I absolutely love that about her, that she can switch off, put weight back on, and then say, right, I'm going to lose it again now, rather than just be that line. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think you get a lot more of a character when someone is up and down that much, when they can enjoy the life outside of the sport as well.